A black boy helps a millionaire with a flat tire, and the next day, a black pickup truck shows up at his house. Evan was only 19 years old, but his mind was full of dreams that kept him awake at night. He worked in a small mechanic shop, located in the heart of a busy neighborhood. The days were long and full of challenges, but Evan always faced each task with determination and a smile on his face. He knew that hard work was the way to achieve his goals. From an early age, Evan showed a special talent for handling machines. His father, now retired due to health problems, was the one who taught him the first secrets of engines. While other children played ball or watched cartoons, Evan preferred to spend the afternoons with his father, learning to disassemble and assemble parts of old cars in the backyard. The shop where he worked was a modest place, with weathered walls and an oil-stained floor. The smell of grease permeated the air, and the sound of metal tools filled the room. Despite everything, for Evan, this place was a sanctuary of sorts. He felt at home there, surrounded by engines and tools, each one telling a different story. Amidst the gears and engines, Evan had a very clear dream: to open his own auto repair shop. It wouldn't be just for him. Evan wanted to be able to provide a better future for his family. His mother worked tirelessly as a housekeeper, and he wanted to ease her burden by providing a comfortable and peaceful home. One day, after a particularly exhausting day, Evan confided his dreams to his best friend, Kareem, as they sat on the steps of the shop. "One day I'm going to open my own shop," Evan said, his eyes shining with determination. "It's going to be a place where the community can truly trust, where every customer is treated like family. And I'm going to make sure my mother never has to worry about money again." Kareem laughed and patted Evan on the back. "I believe in you, brother. If anyone can make this happen, it's you." Those words echoed in Evan's mind as he worked tirelessly, day after day, fixing cars, learning new skills, and saving every penny he could. His dream was big, but he knew that every step he took brought him closer to achieving it. That day, Evan decided to go for a walk around the neighborhood, something he liked to do to clear his mind after hours of work in the garage. The sun was starting to set, tinting the sky with orange and pink hues, while a gentle breeze cooled the air. As he walked through the quiet streets, his thoughts wandered to the dreams he had nurtured since childhood. He was so immersed in his reflections that he almost didn't notice the luxury car parked on the side of the sidewalk with a visibly flat tire. Evan stopped and looked at the vehicle for a moment. It was a sleek sedan, probably worth more than he could earn in years. Still, he couldn't ignore the fact that someone might need help. He approached slowly, seeing a distinguished-looking middle-aged man standing next to the car, frowning as he examined the tire. "Excuse me, sir," Evan called, trying not to sound intrusive. "It looks like you have a flat tire. Can I help you with that?" The man, who later introduced himself as Gregory Barrington, looked up, surprised to see the young man approaching. His analytical eyes assessed Evan for a moment, as if trying to decipher his intentions. Gregory was used to dealing with people from different social circles, but Evan's sincere approach seemed genuine. I don't know if you can," Gregory replied hesitantly. "I have an important appointment, and this caught me by surprise." "Don't worry, sir," Evan smiled, already grabbing the hydraulic jack from the trunk of the car. "I do this all the time at the garage where I work. It'll be quick." Gregory still looked a little skeptical, but he stepped back, allowing Evan to take control of the situation. With deft, precise movements, Evan lifted the car, removed the flat tire, and began to put on the spare. He was so focused on his work that he didn't notice the admiring look Gregory was giving him. "You make it sound so easy," Gregory commented, breaking the silence. "Work at a garage, you say?" "Yes, sir," Evan replied, without looking up from what he was doing. "I'm saving up to open my own one day." Gregory crossed his arms, intrigued. "Ambitious. And why do you want to do this?" Evan paused for a moment, considering the question. "To help my family. I want them to have a better life." Gregory was silent for a few moments, watching the seriousness in Evan's eyes. There was something special about this young man, something that piqued Gregory's curiosity. Perhaps, he thought, this chance meeting was more than just a coincidence. Gregory Barrington was a man accustomed to controlling every aspect of his life. As a successful businessman, he had learned to be cautious, especially when it came to trusting strangers. So when Evan offered to help him, Gregory felt a twinge of distrust. After all, how often did someone actually help without expecting something in return? He hesitated for a moment, looking at the young man standing before him. Evan had a sincere expression, his hands already gripping the hydraulic jack as if it were as natural as breathing. Gregory took a deep breath, considering whether to refuse or accept this unexpected offer. "Okay," Gregory finally said, his voice carrying a tone of skepticism. "But be aware that I'm watching your every move." Evan smiled, understanding the man's caution. "Don't worry, sir. I'm just here to help." Wasting no time, Evan knelt down beside the car and began to work. His hands moved with precision, demonstrating the experience gained from years of practice. The hydraulic jack lifted the car effortlessly, and Evan quickly loosened the lug nuts on the flat tire, replacing it with the spare. Gregory watched everything carefully, his eyes fixed on Evan's agile movements. The speed and efficiency with which he changed the tire were impressive, and Gregory began to feel that his initial distrust might have been unnecessary. Evan's every action was accompanied by a professional calm that conveyed confidence. "You do work in a garage, don't you?" Gregory commented, trying to hide his surprise. Evan chuckled lightly, still focused on the task at hand. "Yes, sir. I do this every day. It's no big deal." Within minutes, the tire was changed, and Evan stood up, wiping his hands on his jeans. "There, sir. It's all taken care of. You can be on your way now." Gregory crossed his arms, sizing the young man up once more. He was impressed, not only by Evan's skill, but also by the selfless way he had offered his assistance. It was a rare sight, and Gregory began to realize that perhaps he had found someone special in this chance encounter. Gregory, still a little incredulous at Evan's speed and skill, stepped forward, reaching into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a sleek, clearly branded leather wallet and began to rummage through it for some cash. "You did a great job, kid. Let me reward you for it," Gregory said, holding out a few bills toward Evan. "Here, take these. It's the least I can do for your time and effort." Evan looked at the money, but instead of taking it, he took a step back, shaking his head. His eyes met Gregory's, and there was unwavering honesty in his expression. "I can't accept that, sir," Evan replied firmly but politely. "I just wanted to help. I didn't do it for the money." Gregory was surprised. It wasn't often that someone would turn down a financial reward, especially when it could be so useful. He studied Evan for a moment, trying to understand what motivated this young man to act so selflessly. "But you deserve it, Evan. Not everyone would do what you did without expecting something in return." Evan smiled again, this time with a hint of humility. "My mother always taught me that we should help others when we can, without expecting anything in return. Besides, sir, I'm used to changing tires. It was just another job for me, nothing special." Gregory was silent for a few seconds, admiring Evan's sincerity. There was something rare about that gesture, something that made him feel an unexpected connection with the young man. He put the money back in his wallet, but he knew he wanted to do something more for Evan. "Well," Gregory began, tucking his wallet into his pocket, "at least let me thank you in some other way. I won't forget what you did today." Evan just nodded, not thinking much about Gregory's words. To him, helping someone in need was just the right thing to do, a simple philosophy he followed in his everyday life. Gregory adjusted his jacket, still processing Evan's refusal to accept the money. He wasn't used to such genuine generosity, and it touched him in a way he hadn't expected. With a genuine smile, he extended his hand to Evan. "Evan, you're an exceptional young man," Gregory said, shaking Evan's hand firmly. "It's rare to find someone so willing to help without expecting anything in return." Evan shook Gregory's hand with a modest smile. "I only did what anyone should do, sir." Gregory shook his head, a gleam of respect in his eyes. "No, Evan, believe me, not everyone would do what you did today. Your attitude says a lot about the kind of person you are." He let go of Evan's hand and placed a hand on the young man's shoulder, looking directly into his eyes. "I promise you I won't forget this help. Somehow, I'll repay you." Evan was a little taken aback by Gregory's sincerity, but he kept his smile. "You don't have to worry about it, sir. I'm glad I could help." Gregory nodded, but something in his expression made it clear he didn't consider the matter closed. He was a man of his word, and when he said he would do something, he meant it. "Anyway, Evan," Gregory continued, "if you ever need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd like to help, just like you helped me today." Evan, although grateful, expected nothing more than to continue his walk. But he knew that this chance encounter with Gregory Barrington, a man so distinguished and clearly influential, was an event that could somehow change the course of his life. The next morning, Evan woke up early, as usual, ready for another day of work in the garage. Routine was his constant companion, but still, he could not get the previous day's encounter with Gregory Barrington out of his mind. Evan wondered if he would ever have another opportunity to help someone in this way. As he drank coffee with his mother in the modest kitchen of their home, the sound of an engine caught his attention. He looked out the window and saw a sleek, imposing black pickup truck pulling up in front of his house. The passenger door opened, and a tall man in an elegant suit got out with a serious but friendly expression. Evan frowned, puzzled. He hadn't expected visitors, much less someone who would arrive in such a luxurious vehicle. Evan's mother noticed the concern on her son's face and placed a hand on his arm. "Who could it be, son? Someone from the garage?" "I don't know, Mom," Evan replied, still looking out the window. "I'll go check." He opened the front door and stepped outside, finding the man already climbing the steps to the small porch. The man, holding a white envelope with Evan's name handwritten on it, smiled politely. "Good morning," the man said, handing the envelope to Evan. "My name is Charles, and I work for Mr. Gregory Barrington. He asked me to deliver this to you personally." Evan took the envelope carefully, looking at Charles with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "Ah, yes, Gregory Barrington. He mentioned something yesterday, but I didn't expect this." Charles smiled reassuringly. "Mr. Barrington is a man of his word, Mr. Evan. He expects you to read the letter and consider the invitation within." With that, Charles gave a slight nod and walked back to the truck, leaving Evan alone with the envelope. Evan felt his heart beat faster. What could possibly be written in that letter? He knew that whatever it was about to change his life. Evan, still clutching the envelope tightly, walked back into the house, his curiosity growing with every step. His mother, who had been watching him closely, noticed the look of surprise on her son's face. "What is it, Evan?" "Something important," she asked, wiping her hands on her apron. "It's a letter from Gregory Barrington," Evan replied, still somewhat lost in thought. "The man I helped yesterday." He sat down at the table, took a deep breath, and carefully opened the envelope, pulling out a sheet of thin paper with the same elegance that Gregory had displayed. The handwriting was neat, as if each word had been carefully chosen. "Dear Evan, first of all, I would like to thank you again for your help yesterday. Your kindness and generosity have not gone unnoticed, and I have been deeply impressed by your attitude. I would like to invite you to a meeting at my home tomorrow afternoon, where we can discuss an opportunity that I believe could change the course of your life. I hope you can accept this invitation, as I am certain that our meeting will be very beneficial. I have enclosed the address and time at the end of this letter. Please let me know if you have any difficulty in attending. I look forward to our conversation. Sincerely, Gregory Barrington. Evan read the letter twice, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness building within him. He looked up at his mother, who was watching silently, sensing that something big was about to happen. "He's inviting me to a meeting at his house," Evan said, almost in disbelief. "He mentioned an opportunity, something that could change my life." His mother smiled, touching Evan's hand tenderly. "Son, this could be the chance you've always dreamed of. Will you take it?" Evan didn't have to think long. He knew he had to find out what Gregory had in mind. "Yes, I'll take it. I need to know what he has to say." The night before the meeting was an emotional roller coaster for Evan. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind racing in every direction. Gregory Barrington's letter was still fresh in his mind, and the promise of a life-changing opportunity made him restless. "Is it something big?" he whispered to himself, imagining all the possibilities. "What if it's my chance to open my own shop, or maybe something even bigger?" Evan tossed and turned in bed, trying to find a comfortable position, but his nerves wouldn't let him rest. He knew this was no ordinary invitation, especially coming from someone as influential as Gregory. The responsibility that could come with this opportunity also made him a little anxious. The next morning he woke up early, his heart still racing. His mother, sensing her son's restlessness, prepared a special breakfast to try to calm him down. "Evan, are you okay?" she asked, placing a cup of coffee in front of him. "I am, Mom. Just a little nervous," Evan admitted, stirring his spoon in his coffee. "I've never had a chance like this before. I don't know what to expect." His mother sat down next to him and placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Son, you've always been a hard worker and a good person. If Mr. Barrington saw something special in you, it's because you deserve it. Trust yourself." Those words brought Evan some comfort. He took a deep breath, trying to shake off his nervousness. Still, the excitement of knowing something big was coming was almost overwhelming. As he prepared for the meeting, Evan chose his best outfit, a simple but neat suit that he wore on special occasions. He glanced in the mirror, adjusting the collar of his shirt, and saw the mix of nervousness and determination on his own face. "I can do this," he muttered to himself. "Whatever it is, I'll face it head-on." With that, Evan left the house, ready to face what awaited him at Gregory Barrington's residence. The anxiety was still there, but now it was accompanied by a new feeling: hope for a better future. Evan headed toward Gregory Barrington's mansion, his heart pounding faster with every mile he drove. He followed the directions in the letter, which took him to a quiet, upscale area of the city. As he approached the large estate, the scenery around him seemed to change. The streets became wider, the houses larger and more imposing, and the nature more well-kept. Evan was amazed at the grandeur of the place, something he had never imagined he would achieve. Finally, he arrived at the mansion. The wrought iron gate opened automatically as Evan's driver stopped the car in front of him, revealing a driveway that led to the main entrance of the house. The mansion was colossal, with a well-kept garden that exuded a sense of wealth and power. He stopped in front of the grand front door, where a friendly butler was waiting for him. "Welcome, Mr. Evan," the butler said with a polite smile, holding the door open. "Mr. Barrington is waiting." "Thank you," Evan replied nervously, thanking him for his kindness. "I've never been to a place like this." The butler simply smiled, as if this were a common occurrence. "It happens to many people for the first time. Mr. Barrington is in the library. Please follow me." Evan followed the butler through the halls of the mansion, which were decorated with valuable paintings and exquisite furniture. He felt a mixture of awe and nervousness as he took in everything around him. The feeling of being in a completely different world, so far removed from his everyday life in the mechanic's shop, made him a little uneasy. But he stood his ground. Upon reaching the library, the butler bowed slightly and announced his arrival. "Mr. Barrington, Evan is here." Gregory Barrington was sitting in a leather chair, a closed book beside him, and he stood up immediately upon seeing Evan. He smiled in a friendly manner, a twinkle in his eyes. "Evan, it's good to see you. I'm glad you could come," Gregory said in a warm voice, extending his hand. "Please make yourself comfortable." Evan shook Gregory's hand, feeling the warmth of cordiality in the gesture. "Thank you for having me, Mr. Barrington. I still can't believe I'm here." Gregory laughed softly, motioning for Evan to sit. "Believe me, Evan, you deserve to be here. This place is nothing more than a reflection of hard work and the right choices, and I believe you have a bright future ahead of you." With those words, Evan sat down in the chair across from Gregory, feeling more at ease. The conversation was about to begin, and he was hanging on every word Gregory would say. He knew that the opportunity he had been waiting for could be within his reach. Gregory Barrington looked at Evan with a thoughtful expression. He leaned forward slightly, his eyes shining with sincerity. Evan, nervous but curious, waited attentively, sensing that the decisive moment was approaching. "Evan," Gregory began, his voice calm and assured, "when you helped me with my car tire yesterday, something much more important than simple politeness and ethics caught my attention. I saw something in you that is rare these days. Genuine generosity and a solid character that is not corrupted by life's difficulties. That is something that, without a doubt, can make all the difference in any endeavor." Evan felt his heart beat faster. He knew Gregory was serious, but he had no idea what was coming next. He looked at the face of the man before him, trying to understand the gravity of the words that were being spoken. "I come from a family that has always valued hard work and commitment to the community," Gregory continued, with a gentleness that seemed to permeate the room. "And for the past few years, we've had a project in mind, a project that I believe could change many lives, and perhaps yours as well." Evan frowned, still trying to figure out where this was going. "What kind of project, Mr. Barrington?" Gregory smiled lightly, as if he already knew Evan's curiosity was about to be satisfied. "It's a revitalization project, Evan, a family venture that I want you to be a part of. It's about mechanics, something you're familiar with, and at the same time, it has the potential to grow much more than you might think." Evan was surprised but said nothing. He felt a mix of excitement and a twinge of trepidation. Working in mechanics was his passion, but the idea of being involved in something bigger than he could imagine made him a little nervous. "I have an old workshop, a mechanical workshop, that has been in my family for generations," Gregory continued. "It's in decline, but with the right care, I believe it can be prosperous again. I want you to lead the charge, Evan. I want you to be the key to bringing it back to life." Evan was speechless for a moment, trying to process the magnitude of the offer. Working on such a major project under the guidance of someone as experienced as Gregory Barrington seemed like a golden opportunity. He felt like he was looking at something that could transform his life once and for all. "Do you have an idea of what needs to be done?" Gregory asked, as if he were watching Evan's reaction. I'd love to know more, Mr. Barrington," Evan replied, his voice choked but full of determination. "I always dreamed of having my own business, but I never imagined that a chance like this would come along." Gregory smiled again, an expression of approval on his face. "I see in you what it takes to make this project work. Generosity, honesty, and most of all, a genuine passion for what you do. Those are the cornerstones of any great work." Evan felt his chest swell with pride. He had always believed in his work ethic, but he had never known it could take him this far. He knew this was the chance of a lifetime, one he could not pass up. "I'm ready, Mr. Barrington," Evan said, more confident now. "I want to do this. I want to help revitalize the workshop and grow what your family started." Gregory nodded with a satisfied smile. "I knew you would say that, Evan, and that is why I am entrusting you with this responsibility. Let's take the first step together. I will be here to guide you, but you will be the one to lead the project." With those words, Evan knew his life was about to change, irrevocably. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also the fire of motivation growing within him. He had a mission, and now, finally, a chance to show the world what he was capable of accomplishing. Evan looked at Gregory, feeling the weight of the words he had just heard. The proposal was tempting, but at the same time daunting. The responsibility of revitalizing an old mechanic's shop seemed like a Herculean task, something beyond anything he had ever imagined. But on the other hand, what he wanted most was precisely this opportunity, a chance to transform his future and help his family in a meaningful way. He took a deep breath and, with a determined look, looked Gregory in the eye. "I accept, Mr. Barrington. I want to do this. I know it won't be easy, but I'm ready to work hard and return this shop to its former glory." Gregory smiled approvingly, visibly pleased with Evan's answer. "That's what I wanted to hear. The road ahead will not be easy, Evan. You will face challenges, unexpected obstacles, and yes, moments of doubt. But I believe you have what it takes to get through this. I'll be here to guide you whenever you need it, but the real work will be yours." Evan nodded, feeling a wave of responsibility weigh down on his shoulders, but also an intense excitement, a sense that something great was about to begin. "I know I can count on you, Gregory. I won't let you down." "I know, Evan, I know," Gregory replied, squeezing his hand firmly. "This isn't just a business deal. It's an opportunity to create something that will last for generations. And you, young man, will be the key to it all." Evan felt a surge of pride and gratitude. He knew this wasn't just about him. It was about his family, his community, and everyone who depended on him. He thought of his mother, who had always worked hard to care for him and his siblings, and the sacrifices his family had made so he would have the chance to change his life. He couldn't let that slip away. Gregory continued, his voice softer now, but still serious. "The shop needs more than just a facelift. It needs someone with vision, someone who understands the needs of the community and whose heart is in the right place. With your experience and the generosity you've shown, I believe you're the right person for the job." Evan looked at Gregory, feeling a renewed energy inside him. He knew he would have to learn a lot in the process. The business world was new to him, but mechanics was something he was intimately familiar with. He had always known how to fix a car, but now he would have to fix something much bigger, a dream, a life opportunity. "I'll do my best to make it grow, Gregory. Thank you for your trust." Gregory gave a low chuckle, almost in relief. "I knew you'd say that. Now the real journey begins, Evan." With the decision made, Evan felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. It was as if he had taken the first step into a new future, and the next few days, weeks, and months would be crucial. He would have to work tirelessly, learn more about how to run the workshop, and most importantly, apply the principles of honesty, generosity, and hard work that Gregory had mentioned. "We'll start tomorrow," Gregory said with immense confidence. "I'll introduce you to the rest of the team, and we'll start looking at the areas that need more attention in the workshop. But remember, Evan, the most important thing will be your vision. You'll be the leader of all this." With these words, Evan felt a mixture of responsibility and gratitude. He was about to embark on the most difficult journey of his life, but he knew that with Gregory by his side, he would have the support he needed to make the project a success. Evan stood up from his chair, already feeling the weight of responsibility turning into motivation. I'm ready, Gregory. Let's do this. Gregory smiled, a smile that seemed to light up the room. That's what I wanted to hear. And with that, Evan's fate was sealed. He would commit to this project like never before, determined to transform his life and that of his family. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but nothing of great value comes without effort. He was finally beginning the journey that could truly change everything. The first few months were a roller coaster ride for Evan. He was immersed in the day-to-day running of the shop, learning the ropes, getting to know the team, and trying with all his might to get the shop off the ground. The task was not easy, and the pressure was enormous. The hard work was starting to pay off, but difficulties began to arise. The shop needed more investment than Evan had initially imagined. The old machines were breaking down frequently, and the cost of parts to fix them was high. In addition, customers, who were already few, began to drift away, unaware of the advances Evan was trying to implement. But what worried Evan most was not the wear and tear on the machines or the lack of customers. It was the imminent threat of the workshop being sold. One morning, Evan was called into Gregory's office. Gregory's serious expression was unmistakable, and Evan could already tell something was wrong. The atmosphere, usually warm and friendly, was now tense. "Evan, I need to be honest with you," Gregory said, looking him straight in the eye. "The workshop is in a delicate situation. The debts are mounting, and the investment needed to keep the operation running is beyond what we imagined. Without significant financial support, the only solution would be to sell the business." Evan felt his heart sink. He had given his heart and soul to the project. He couldn't just watch everything he had done so far fall apart, but he also knew it wasn't enough, that he didn't have the resources to save the workshop alone. "But, Gregory, what can we do? I don't want to lose all of this. I know I have the potential to make the workshop grow. I just need a chance." Gregory sighed, looking regretful. "I know you don't want to give up, Evan. And I believe in you too. That's why I've come up with a solution. I can help you buy the garage so that you have full control over the business, but it will require you to commit to the existing debt and show, in a solid way, that you can take on that responsibility." Evan looked at Gregory in surprise, unable to believe what he was hearing. The idea of buying the garage seemed impossible. How could he, a 19-year-old with limited resources, afford to take on such a large debt? But Gregory wasn't just offering the possibility of buying, he was offering confidence. "But how am I going to pay for it? I don't have that kind of money," Evan replied, his voice thick with desperation. Gregory smiled slightly, as if he already knew the doubt that was forming in Evan's mind. "I know you don't have the money right now, Evan, but what you have is something I value much more: character, determination, and a clear vision of what you want to achieve. I can help you with the initial financing, and you will pay it back over time as the shop starts to generate more profit." Evan felt a whirlwind of emotions. The opportunity was great, but at the same time the weight of responsibility was overwhelming. He looked at Gregory, trying to understand if this was really possible. What if I fail? What if the business doesn't improve? "I don't believe you'll fail, Evan. And even if things don't go as planned, I'll be by your side. This isn't just a financial investment. This is an investment in you, in your qualities as a human being and as a professional. I'm not just your mentor. I'm someone who believes in your potential." Evan swallowed hard, trying to process everything. He never imagined he would have this chance, that someone like Gregory would bet everything on him. He knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. The debt was great, the risk was immense, but he felt like he was about to make the most important decision of his life. "Do you really believe in me, Gregory?" "I do. And I want you to know that if you accept this opportunity, I will be by your side, but you will be responsible for the success or failure of this journey. The rest is up to you, Evan." Evan closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of the decision. What he feared most was failure, but what he wanted most was to prove that he was capable of achieving something great. He thought of his mother, of his family, of how they had always fought and sacrificed to give him a better life. And in that moment, he knew he could not let this chance slip away. "I accept, Gregory. I will do it. I will buy the garage and make it prosper." Gregory smiled broadly, a glint of satisfaction in his eyes. "I knew you would say that, Evan. Let's get started right away." And with those words, Evan's journey took a definitive turn. He now had the chance to truly change his life, but he knew it would not be easy. He would have to work harder than ever, overcome financial obstacles, earn the trust of his customers, and most importantly, learn how to manage not only a business, but also his own destiny. But Evan was more determined than ever. He knew that with Gregory's help and his own perseverance, he could turn that old workshop into a thriving business and build the future he had always dreamed of. Time passed, and Evan could not believe the transformation he was experiencing. The workshop that had once seemed like a place on the brink of collapse, with rusty doors and worn-out equipment, was now shining, renewed, and vibrant. Each day he felt more confident, more prepared to deal with the challenges that arose. Gregory was always there, offering valuable advice, but Evan was now the one in charge. He had met his financial commitments, and the workshop's debt was being reduced month by month. The changes did not happen overnight, but little by little, the reputation of the workshop grew. The quality of the services provided, the honesty in the service, and Evan's dedication to ensuring that each customer was treated with respect were evident. Customers began to return and recommend the place to others. One morning, Evan was in the shop, watching the action. The day was starting out slowly, but he knew something big was coming. As he was reviewing the financial documents, one of the mechanics walked into the room with a big smile on his face. "Evan, this month's bill is adding up. We're in the black," the mechanic exclaimed, almost in disbelief. Evan was silent for a moment, trying to process this information. He knew that the shop's financial situation was improving, but hearing it out loud made his heart beat faster. He had finally found his footing. He was thriving, and all he had to do was trust himself and believe that it was possible. "This is amazing, but we can't stop here. We have to keep growing, keep getting better," Evan replied with a smile on his face. "Today, we have what it takes to keep the business going. But tomorrow, we need to dedicate ourselves even more." As Evan walked around the workshop, now more confident, he couldn't help but think about everything that had happened. He still remembered his life before all of this, before he met Gregory, before he believed he could accomplish something so great. There were days when doubt would overwhelm him, but he never gave up. Now, he knew that perseverance was the key to any dream worth fighting for. Evan's journey was also not just about financial success, but about the impact he had made on his family. He was finally able to give his mother and siblings the life he had always dreamed of for them. The financial pressure that had been weighing on them for so long began to fade. Evan could now pay the bills with ease, buy new clothes for his siblings, and even take his mother out to dinner, something she had always wanted, but had previously seemed impossible. One evening, after a day of work, Evan sat at the table with his mother and siblings. He looked at them, smiling, and felt a sense of gratitude that he had never felt before. "I know we're just getting started, but I want everyone to know that it's because of you that I've made it this far. Every sacrifice we've made together has given me the strength to not give up," he said, his voice thick with emotion. His mother smiled, tears in her eyes. "I always knew you could do it, Evan. I always believed in you. And now, look what you've done. Not only have you changed our lives, but you've changed yours too." Evan smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "I've learned so much. Life isn't about what you have. It's about what you do with what you have. I've learned that kindness and perseverance are the most powerful forces there are. I thank Gregory for showing me that. As the night wore on, Evan felt calmer, more confident about the future. He knew that his success was a reflection not only of his skills as a mechanic and entrepreneur, but also of the way he treated people, how he helped them, and how he gave without expecting anything in return. The kindness Gregory saw in him, the same kindness that had led him to embrace the opportunity to change his life, was now part of the very DNA of the business. Evan knew he should never forget that, and so, as the shop flourished, Evan continued to learn and grow every day. Not only was he building a successful future for himself and his family, but he was also perpetuating the values Gregory had taught him. Values that would make all the difference in his life, his business, and most importantly, his journey as a human being. The shop was no longer just a car repair shop. It was now a symbol of resilience, of unexpected opportunities, and most of all, of how kindness can transform lives. Evan's story, his struggle, and his success became an inspiration to everyone around him, showing that no matter how difficult the path, anything is possible when you believe in yourself and in the power of good deeds.